Welcome back to the Underdawgs podcast. I just want to go over today with these three gentlemen a topic that's been on our minds lately about how to become successful and a better version of ourselves. Today, we want to focus on what our weaknesses are, what our strengths are individually, and what we're passionate about.
Absolutely. And something that I want to tell you guys, you want to stay with us until the end of this video because this podcast is organized by people just like you. You can go ahead and watch other podcasts with millions of views where people already achieved the Mount Everest and they climbed up there and they have millions of dollars. And a lot of that information won't be relevant to you. We are in your shoes. We are climbing up to success. We haven't had all of our successes yet, but we're very determined. So subscribe to this channel right now and stay until the end of this video.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest things about this whole podcast. Even the name, Underdogs, that screams all of us, right? And if you're an underdog yourself, again, take pride in that and be that underdog where you prove everybody wrong. And that's what we're doing on this podcast, not only weekly with our uploads, but every single day within our lives, right? So it's a blessing to be back again with these fine gentlemen. I appreciate you guys making it happen, right? We got busy schedules, right? We all are still able to make it coordinate and make it happen. To start us off though, when it comes to biggest weaknesses, I don't want to dive right into it as far as what your current weakness is, but let's bring it back a couple years ago. What were your biggest weaknesses 3 years ago for Corbin, 3 years ago for Vlad? What did that look like, right? Because people are seeing a polished version of you guys right now. You guys are entering some of the best phases, physically, mentally, spiritually, financially right now. Even though we're so far from our goals, what did that version of you look like 3 years ago? What were those current weaknesses?
I got it. My biggest weakness was smoking weed and doing drugs and drinking alcohol. And that version of myself, I've completely thrown out the door. It's gone. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, but that was one of the biggest weaknesses that hindered my success. Another weakness I had was not being healthy, not going to the gym, laying on a couch like this, binge watching NCIS, Law and Order, thinking that TV and fun were gonna change my life. That was a huge weakness of mine, not understanding who I am.
Does it still knock on your door? Or it's completely in the past and you forgot about it?
Always knocks on the door. When you're addicted to drinking, smoking, and doing drugs, it's just one mistake away from repeating that same past. So the best way to stay on track is to look at yourself in the mirror every day and tell yourself you don't want to have the same life you had 3 years ago. Because that 3-year-old you may have been a little bit successful, may have had a lot of attention, but was your bank account filled? Was your family fed? Were you able to take care of loved ones and others? Do you have pride in who you were when you looked at yourself in the mirror? Because I'm still not the most successful person. So I don't know. How did the version of you look like, Vlad, 3 years ago?
I mean, it's not like now it's a brand new Vlad or brand new Corbin. Like you mentioned, it still knocks on your door and it tests you. So it's a lifetime journey and you just got to be aware of your weaknesses and your strengths. My personal weakness, it still is now, is time management. And it goes in hand with prioritizing. Like, how do you prioritize on the right activity and then build systems? I'm not the most organized person, and you know this because we work together, and that's my weakness. But the weakness is, how do I put it, is just there gotta be another side of that weakness, and there is direct correlation between weakness and then it's normally balanced out by your strength.
Sure.
Maybe Brandon wants to talk more about that or your weaknesses.
100%. I mean, I hope you guys really understood what Vlad said, right, you have to be aware of your weaknesses. You have to like acknowledge that. That's the only way you're going to improve as a man or a woman, right? When you acknowledge, okay, these are my weaknesses. Now you create a roadmap, or maybe do the opposite to lead to positive results. So, back then for me, 3 years ago, I was kind of in the same boat as Corbin. I smoked a lot of weed. I hung out with individuals that didn't align with my dreams and my goals and my ambitions. And again, I was aware of that, and I changed that path that I was on. One of the biggest things that I'm currently working on right now is a sense of urgency. I still feel like I move quick, but I can move quicker, right? And I study successful individuals. I'm around successful individuals on a daily basis, and I see how they think, I see how they operate, and they move with speed. If they think something and they want to put action on it, they don't procrastinate. They don't, doubt themselves, right?
Not at all.
They put it in
Fearless.
and attack it with everything they have every single day. So I study successful people and I try to emulate the way they go about life. And if you just do that, you're going to get better on a daily basis. So I just really want you guys to understand, like, being aware is the foundation for you to get better.
Yep. And then another thing, just to tie into what you're saying, is being urgent. Okay. When you're making calls and you get a response from a customer or a client for yourself, there's a golden rule. It's called the 3 7s. You must respond either within 7 seconds, 7 minutes, or 7 hours. If you miss the 3 7s at any point, it wasn't urgent enough. You didn't build enough urgency to make the sales. You didn't build enough urgency to respond to the customer. You didn't build enough urgency to get back to your client. Urgency and time kills deals.
Yeah.
You want to make money, you have to move fast. You know that. Having a customer wait.
But I'm so bad at this.
Having customers wait, when we're selling a vehicle, we're going to get a car from another storage lot and we have the customer wait. We go get numbers and our desk manager's too slow or our manager's too slow. Brendan's the manager and we're asking him something. Hey, this is what the customer is looking for. This is what we need to get done. And you let them sit there for 15, 20 minutes, you just killed the deal. You got to move with action and move fiercely through everything that you do. Today, Vlad, what time did you get to the gym to go run with me?
We got there at 5:40. You already had your workout session. Then we ran for about 5-6 miles. We came back, and we did another workout session with punching the bags and doing the pull-ups and punching each other in
the abs.
In the abs, yeah.
And we kept going.
But listen, about what you said, I think to some people that are new to the channel, we gotta say that we're both work in sales. We work at #1 Mercedes-Benz dealership in the country and in the world, and we're top salesman there. We're new to the company, but we established new standards for the company and everyone that works there, and that's what we do. So
we moved together, and like Vlad said, just to tie into it, and this as well, being a leader, you set the standard. We're 3 young individuals here that want to set the standard. That's why we're talking about our weaknesses openly on this camera.
Yeah, it's not easy to sit down and talk about your weaknesses. I mean, there is a question on interview. Tell me about your weaknesses, and you're like, yeah, I'm a perfectionist. And it's really hard for the person to completely open up and talk about it. Yep. But maybe we don't have to list all of our weaknesses. Everyone who's watching this, this. Everyone who sits here, this. And listen, when I believe before God lands us on this planet Earth, He wants us to be tested, and He will implement in our life a weakness, an addiction maybe. I'm talking about the, fighting addiction of alcohol or drugs or overeating. We don't just want to focus on the big addiction. If you have an addiction of overindulging the food, that's an addiction and you gotta stop. We talk about watching porn and you don't think it's an addiction, it's a fucking addiction and you gotta change it. You have, wherever addictions you have, you know those addictions and you gotta be aware of them and you gotta fight them. And that's one of our primary goals on this planet, being in our body, having the soul in us, to go through them and acknowledge them and get rid of them. And I think when I look at the greatest people, greatest athletes, you look at them and they all had their weaknesses, they all had their addictions. I believe you can break your habits of addictions, you can break a bad karma of your life, and you can achieve greatness, basically.
Absolutely.
And everyone knows what those addictions that you have, if you can win over them, you will win in life.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of life too. It's not being the most happiest individual. It's going through that whole journey of life, the experiences, the hardships, the roller coasters, right? Because when you have the self-awareness to understand your weaknesses and be a man or woman that's like, you know what, I'm going to improve these weaknesses.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of weaknesses are insecurities, fears, doubts, right? So for you to go on this path of like self-improvement, that's where you're going to find the most joy out of life.
Yeah.
Right? Because you fully understand who you are. You fully understand that you're not going to run away from the things that are hindering you.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to run towards those things and become someone that you can be proud to see. So I think people have to understand, okay, like, yes, I have a lot of weaknesses, but if they change their perspective on their weaknesses, you know, they can enjoy life more so to the fullest.
Focusing on the weaknesses is what you gentlemen are saying right now, is how you're going to guide yourself to being that great player in life, right? You can't always be happy, like Brennan said, and you can't overindulge in certain activities. Otherwise, you're not fulfilling who you're meant to be truly in life. And everybody has different opinions on this, which is totally fine, but attack the weaknesses so that way you can grow as a person, because your strengths are there and your passions are there, which we're going to get into in a moment, but your weaknesses are what guide you to being into those strengths or passions. Like for me, we're sparring at the gym after we go on the run, and I've never sparred and it hurts, but Vlad tells me, you got to take the hit, you got to take the kick to the knee, you got to take the kick to the leg, you just have to keep getting hit so you can grow. So that's a weakness of mine, right?
Feeling pain is very important. Fight.
And going to the gym, building on the urgency we're talking about. We hit the run, we woke up, we did our exercise, we went to work myself, he worked on his own business, he went to work. Then we made more time to sit here to talk to people like yourselves, so that way you guys know that we're all in the same boat. That includes the audience. We want to be successful.
But when I hit you and you're not used to it and you're like, okay, you know, maybe you will like complain a little bit about it. I'm surprised because I don't see that side of you, and all I see is just strength, and you know yourself, and it's not shown to the world, and you know that you have to improve this. So that's great to acknowledge that. But I know you as a person as the most disciplined person. Like you never missed the gym for so many years, and everyone in the gym knows you as the hardest worker, and you go through the pain of the reps. You go through the pain, and I gotta learn that from you. Like, how do you go through so much pain every day and then go on and doing 100 floors?
I want to say something before you say something. Life is war, right? And as a man, if you want to achieve something that most people aren't willing to pursue, you have to be a man that exposes your own weaknesses. I mean, you have to acknowledge that, you have to improve that. Or else life, your competitors, your enemies are going to expose those weaknesses for you. So again, you have to be a person that's expose your own weaknesses, or life and your enemies is going to expose it for you. So you just have to understand, everyone is gunning to be successful. Everyone is gunning to have your position, to make this amount of money, to have this sports car, right? So you have to find every edge about yourself to give you that advantage. And that's through improving your weaknesses to be a man that can defy everyone's, trying to hinder you and whatnot. So I wanted to point that out.
I know, I love it. I love it.
But I got a question. Do you focus more on improving your strengths, or really exposing the weaknesses and working on the weaknesses and getting better in your weak areas of your life? Where do you focus more?
In the weaknesses. The reason you focus on the weaknesses is because last month, like we said, we all work in sales. I had a really tough month. You had a really tough month. You had a really tough month.
100%.
Our weakness at that moment in time was perseverance. And what we go through today is not what we'll be going through in a year or two. So we're exposing where we can grow as people. And if you don't focus on the weaknesses, because I was having a lot of bad attitude and I wasn't thinking properly. I was like, why is this happening? Why this? Why that? But that's the victim's mentality. Whereas you're given all the same 24 hours in a day. So it's our choice whether we take action that day or we don't take action that day.
Yeah, but again, you only have 24 hours. So why would you focus on your weaknesses when you can actually focus on your strengths? Why would you go and play soccer and trying to be a soccer player and professional soccer player when you actually meant to be a chess player? And why don't you just practice playing chess and being the best player in the world, and you just, wasting your time on your weakness? What do you say about that?
This is a really good question.
It is a good question.
Because you can go both directions, right? For me, you just have to understand what your weaknesses are, right? Because maybe that weakness, if you work on it, could be your advantage. For me, I thought for the longest time, my weakness was the way I speak. Was scared to speak, stuttered, said couldn't elaborate on the thoughts that were going through my mind and speak that out, right? But now that I worked on one of my biggest weaknesses, I truly believe it's one of my greatest strengths now, to inspire people, to motivate people, to allow people to see different things from a different lens because maybe I see it differently, right? So just understanding what your weakness is, and that could be your advantage. So for me, I put more time into my weaknesses because that's going to allow you to build an overall version of yourself that's going to be, a greater version than someone who only focuses on their strengths.
Yeah. I think if you just strictly focus on your strengths, right, you miss out on the areas to grow in life. Because I could be the best salesperson, but there's always someone better. I could be the best soccer player, but there's always someone better. You can be the best public speaker in the world, but there's always someone better, right? So your strengths, you're going to build through your weaknesses. Hopefully they enhance, right? We want to use the word, it enhances your strengths. Your weaknesses enhance your strength. If you got less disorganized, right, and you were more focused on being organized at work, your productivity would get better because you would have a better way of keeping your routine in check with producing more results. But I'm not going to hound you on a weakness that you are aware of, right? It's your responsibility as an individual to address those weaknesses so you can grow. I think if you were more organized, right, that could increase your sales. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but I'm not saying that it's not good that you're not organized. I'm just saying that that weakness, if you became more organized, you could grow. My weakness of being a drug addict, I ended up kicking so I could grow, right? So it's within those weaknesses that you're saying, like you're speaking and you're having trouble having the thought process come out the mouth, but then you practice and practice and practice all of a sudden now you speak in front of the audience on the camera and you feel strong and confident, right? A strength is something that I've already done through repetition. And we'll get into that. I mean, are you guys ready to talk about some of your strengths right now? What is one of your strengths?
But I want to continue on what we're talking because I'm not convinced. I mean, if you're a football player or a soccer player and you're talented and you're really good at what you do, right? And well, life will be really good if you just play soccer or football and you getting paid millions of dollars a year. Why would you focus on your weaknesses of not being good at math and other weaknesses that will not make you any money? So why even care about your weaknesses when you can leverage your strengths so well that the weaknesses are not even important anymore?
Irrelevant.
Play to your strengths, but what you have to understand, if you only work on your strengths, you're going to be a one-dimensional football player.
Correct.
Soccer player. We look at Kobe Bryant, right? He worked on every aspect of his game.
Yeah.
Not only shooting, not only driving, not only passing, but defense as well. Understanding every sector when it comes to the game, it makes you a better overall player.
Yeah, bro, but Mayweather doesn't know how to read.
Your weather?
Mayweather, the boxer, he's one of the best boxers.
Mayweather.
Oh,
Mayweather. Oh, I'm sorry about my accent, guys. Hi, my name is Vlad Brunica. I'm from Transnistria. Tiraspol, came here without English 10 years ago. Yeah. Anyway, that's my immigrant story. Hey,
so go ahead. Mayweather doesn't know what?
He doesn't know how to fucking read.
Yeah, but there was like a podcast that went on, like Conor McGregor said that you couldn't even give this guy an elementary book to read. It doesn't matter if you make a lot of money. That's great.
Look within his sport. He's not one-dimensional when it comes to boxing.
He's not. He's a fucking smart guy.
100%.
And with his investments and stuff. Anyway, I heard that he was talking about bankruptcy, or that was rumor. Anyway, I don't know. But as far as I know, that
whether bankruptcy, I don't know.
One thing I want to say though, touching up on this subject, what's a weakness that you found out through someone telling you or you learned on your own that you didn't work on and it bit you in the butt? Give me a case scenario for both of you guys and I'll go last.
I don't know. I have to think about it.
Not listening. Thinking that.
And somebody told you about it?
Yeah, of course.
Or you were aware of this weakness. You're like,
course.
I need to improve it, but you didn't take enough action and it bit you in the butt.
Listening.
Bro, you're a good listener. What are you talking about?
I'm a great
Maybe
listener.
you got better at this.
But when someone gives you a command, like Brandon's a manager. If your manager gives you a command and then you think that you have the better solution to it, great. Bite your fucking tongue. Okay? Listen to your manager or the person that has been in the industry longer, so that way you can attack the problem with their perspective. And sometimes you get told, go out there on a pencil, right, on a deal. I want it presented like this. And you know it's not going to close. So you say something. Instead of just listening, take the deal out and work it that way. So listening is huge. And that's my biggest weakness right now, is not shutting the fuck up when I need to shut the fuck up. All right? And it's hard to admit that because you want to have this, I'm doing great. I'm going to the gym. I'm going to work 7 days a week. I'm on the podcast. No, shut the fuck up. Just listen, seek advice from Brendan and Vlad. Like, understand their perspectives, understand your perception, and really dive into it. That's my huge weakness right now, is just shutting the fuck up.
And you got to know your limits too. If you know that you're not great at something, you got to focus on your strengths. I think that you really have to focus on your strengths. And I'll give you an example. Like, I was trying to fit in society when I was a kid. I was doing soccer because everyone was doing soccer. And back in my school, you had to do either of two things. You had to do boxing to survive in that school, or you had to be a really good soccer player. And that's why I was trying to do soccer. And, I didn't have the right guidance from my parents or my brother or sister. And I just did soccer for 7 years when it's, obviously if we go play, I'm going to be better than most of the people that didn't do soccer, but it's not my talent. And it was obvious to me, but I still kept doing it and pushing doing that when you have some natural talents that are actually obvious. Like I was captain of my school for volleyball, and you could tell that I'm probably a little bit talented in volleyball, but I didn't do it because it wasn't cool. So you have to know your limits and focus on your strengths. That's the balance that you gotta keep in mind.
So you keep bringing up strengths. Let's hear, what is your strength? I want to know what is the strength.
I want you to answer the question first, though, before we go on to strengths.
What question? His own question.
Your biggest weaknesses that you were aware of, that you didn't take enough action or improve, and it bit you in the butt.
Can I call a friend or take 30 seconds to think about it?
I'll go first, and then I'll allow you to think. For me, growing up, I wasn't a man of my word.
Ooh.
And I said a lot of things that I didn't mean. I told people I'd be there for you. I'd call you at this time. I'll pick you up, or certain things, right? And I just never fulfilled my word. I'd make a lot of broken promises, and it bit me in the butt a lot because I would lose relationships. People would lose respect for me.
Sure.
And the biggest thing as a man you have to understand is there's two things you have control over, right? Is your mind, your thoughts, right? And the words that come out of your mouth. So if you're a man and you want people to respect you, you want people to present opportunities to you, you want people to look at you in a positive way and conduct themselves to be like you one day, you have to be a man of your word, right? Because that's going to be so important when it comes to building long-term relationships, having, a business personality to you, and just being an overall good person that people can trust and rely on you is being a man of your word. So That's one of the biggest things I had to learn the hard way, but it was through those hard lessons that I started to implement that. And again, make my word iron will. If I say something, I have to fulfill it.
Correct.
Bro, you really made me think about myself. I'm not prepared for that question, but if I look on the surface of my life from the childhood, sometimes I got comments from my relatives, from my uncle, hey, you really got a big ego. You're walking around like you got, with your chest, and you think that you're smarter or wiser than the people that are older than you. You gotta listen more. You gotta shut up more and have more respect for adults. Like that, the comments I got, and I didn't realize what that means, and I thought that they're wrong. Like I was walking around with my chest forward and I know everything. You know how 50 Cent, the song, he's walking around like he's got with the chest, like he got an ass on his chest. Like he's walking around like, yeah. Anyway, and listen, and that, I think that really, with the life lessons, I got humbled in situations where, I thought by certain talents that I have, I'll just do much better in life than the other people that I thought that the lower than me. And then I see those people really exceeding in life, and I was behind them, and it gets you humbled because you never want to think that you're better than someone. You always want to listen and learn from others and have no ego. So I guess that's what it is. Yeah. And just because I really feel uncomfortable talking about it, it probably means that that's one of my weaknesses, because I don't want to talk about it. So let's go to the next thing.
Yeah. And so going into the next topic, and this podcast is really focused on what are your weaknesses, and we could list a bunch of them. So we listed a few. What are your strengths and what are you passionate about? So one of my strengths in life, and you know it is discipline and consistency, and being a man of my word. If I tell someone I'm going to go be somewhere at 5:45 p.m. or 5:45 a.m.,
hell yeah,
I'll be there at 5:45 a.m.
I love that about you, bro.
I don't fuck
Like-
around. If I tell you I'm gonna be at work to help you with an appointment and you're coming in at this time and it's my day off, best believe my ass will be there. I'm a full man of my word. If I tell you I'm gonna go get numbers on a deal for you, Vlad, or for you, I'm gonna go get you fucking numbers. Not gonna be sitting here hoping, you know what, I'll call them when I'm free. No, urgency, urgency, urgency.
No, man, and I love that about you. I mean, for me, it's probably one of the most important qualities in a friend, a partner, business partner, to be a man of your word. Because how can you go and do business or open business with someone who doesn't stick to his word? I mean, you know, and it's all about little things. Like if you agreed to do something, you know, you do it. If you agreed to meet a certain place, certain time, you do it. It's very, very important. I would never go to a war or open a business with someone who can't stick to his word, because what if there's going to be a problem and, you know, that person is not going to commit to what he promised? It's going to be easy give up, you know? Yeah. So, and I don't want to go to a war with that person. No, yeah. So you gotta be a man of your word, and I love that about you. And consistency, bro. Whew, I think I talk about it like every podcast. they listen, because you just want, you know, look at you, and this is probably the most consistent man I know and I've ever like seen in person. Like the consistency that you have is like, listen, when you're sick and you're still doing your whole routine, that impresses, you know? When you slept 3 hours and you still do your routine, is impressive. When you go for a 20-mile run with me, okay, and before that you go to the gym and hit the full workout session, that's impressive. That's consistency, and that's what builds success. Yeah. That's the number one rule. But we're not really talking about success. It's a platform for any success. Sure. That the identifying your strengths and weaknesses. And the other thing that we outlined in the beginning of this podcast was passion. Are you guys ready to talk about that, or what do you think, Brandon?
I want to hear Brandon's strength right now.
Yeah.
I want to hear how this young gentleman here went from no sales experience to entering sales to becoming a manager and a leader of 16 sales reps within 1 year. It's really impressive, especially with a startup company. He's against individuals that are 30, 40, yeah, that have been working with his CEO for a while. But Brennan defied a lot of odds with his strengths. He really sat down in a room and actually watched cold call videos. And I would talk to him in his first few months of the sales. He would watch cold call videos. He would explain how he was like, you know what? I'm gonna make it sound like I have something interesting to say. I'm not just gonna be like, hey, so and so, I work with this company, so and so, how can I help you, or would you be interested? No. Brandon thought of some creative way to be able to hook these clients to stay on the phone with him, to lead him to the next success.
Doing cold calling takes balls. So
yeah, iron balls, okay? To sit there and call somebody off a Yelp.
All right, man, let the man speak.
I'm just saying.
Speak about your strengths.
I'm just saying right there, man. Like, that's impressive. It's harder than getting hot leads like we do.
Yeah. I think the coolest thing before I get into it is having, you know, a band of brothers that are so disciplined and like on top of their goals, and, you know, have the, I don't know, gratitude to like shout you out as well. It's pretty cool to hear. So biggest thing that I hope you guys grab from this podcast is just like surround yourself with better people.
Love
right?
it.
Because better people are going to uplift you. They're going to motivate you. They're going to hold you accountable, right? And it's just through that whole process, that's going to make you better. So Appreciate that, guys.
Of course.
When it comes to me, my biggest strengths, I'd say, of course, is my consistency and discipline. I mean, I think, Corbin definitely tops me. I've worked out 400 days plus without missing. The last maybe 500 days, I've missed maybe 4 days, right? I'm nowhere near Corbin, but I think just understanding discipline is basically saying, I love you to yourself.
Hell yeah.
Right? You telling yourself, I love you to me enough to continue to show up every single day. And I feel like that's one of my biggest strengths because it shows that I'm willing to put the work in for, the delayed gratification.
Sure.
Right? I'm willing to suffer now to appreciate later. Right? And I think another big strength of mine is my emotional intelligence. Like Corbin said, I lead a team of 16 reps, right? And prior to this, I had really no leadership experience. I help young men on social media get fit and become a man that they could be proud to see with just adopting habits that align with, again, that better version of themselves, making sure they're on top of, eating right, working out, being disciplined, and just, again, adopting habits that allow them to become better every single day. And put in a position that, I'm in right now has allowed me to fully understand you need to control your emotions because as a leader, as we all are, they look up to you. So if you're not controlling your emotions, if you're all over the place, if you let one bad situation derail you from your whole day, that's going to make your team, not stay on the path.
No.
Right. And I think one thing I do well is I'm very stoic. And I could be having the hardest day, but I'm going to do my best to give my best to my team.
Yeah.
And were you always like that, being stoic? Or did you develop that in yourself?
Great question, Vlad. I mean, I played sports my whole life, and my father was on my ass, 25-8, you need to be doing this.
What did you play?
I played lacrosse, I played football, I played basketball, I played baseball, I played soccer. I played a lot of sports growing up, but I think it was just always being in a sports atmosphere that I couldn't let my emotions win. Because if I let my emotions win, not only am I losing, but my, competitors or the opposition is going to win. Right? When you get in your emotions, you're not your best self.
Yeah.
You're not focused on how you can be better that next play.
Yep.
Right? Or being more strategic or whatever. You're only focusing on yourself.
And that's what happened to me last month.
Talk more about that.
I was so in my head that I was failing. I wasn't capitalizing on all my leads at work. I wasn't coming into work with good attitude. And Vlad knows it because Vlad works with me and he sits across from me. I was crying like a little bitch. But I wasn't being stoic enough to realize I have to go into that inner Corbin and remember that my emotions can't control how I react to my day. I have to always be in a stoic mindset of pushing forward. And we're leaders, okay? It's different if you, for whatever reason, the only thing you love in your life is going to your 9-to-5 job. Then you fucked up, okay? It's not my only love in life. I have all these cool passions we're going to talk about, and I just want to know and accept the fact that last month I failed, so I'm putting it out there on the camera. I failed miserably in how to control my emotions last month, and I'm not going to let that happen again. I'm going to come into work, I'm going to kick fucking ass, and I'm going to provide for my friends and my family so that way I can continue to sit here with you guys and put these podcasts out.
100%. I can, build off what you're saying. I failed last month too, right? My team didn't perform to their best of capabilities. And I acknowledged that this morning with the whole team, and I let them know complacency is not going to slide here, right? If you guys want to come in, clock out, do whatever, not give it your best effort, you are not going to last here. You guys have to seize the opportunity that you have at hand. There is no other company that is willing to pay you guys the amount that you guys get paid, right? And give you all the tools and resources to be successful if you're not going to utilize it.
Yep.
Right? We have $100 million individual coming in Monday through Saturday that you guys are not utilizing. That's a moat that no other company or many other companies don't have.
We don't have the owner of Fletcher Jones coming in every day.
And I told him too, I was like, you guys have to understand, my job is not to make you guys feel good. My job is not to butter you up to make you feel all warm inside. Right? Go get some fucking hot chocolate. My job is to make sure you guys are getting paid large amounts of money and becoming better every single day. And if you guys aren't performing, not only are you not doing your job, I'm not doing my job as a leader. So this is going to change today, right? And I had to emphasize that to the team. It's no hard feelings. You guys know what you signed up for, but you should be ecstatic about this opportunity because it's going to build and grow you into a man or a woman that this is the strong foundation that you built utilizing this company. That if you go elsewhere, if you start your own company, you can be successful because of all the hardships, the competitiveness within this environment that we demand out of you and push for you. You're going to become a better individual because of this. Leverage this opportunity. There's only so many great opportunities in your life. If you leverage this to the best of your ability, you will be glad looking hindsight of who you become because of it.
I couldn't agree more. You have anything to add on that, Vlad?
No, man. I just want to emphasize the importance of identifying these three things. Like, what's your strengths? What's your weaknesses? What's your passions? And the passion is the last word because you need to identify those two first, and then you can figure out your passion. And if you're going the wrong direction, then you didn't really do the homework on yourself, the most important person in the universe, because it always starts with you. And before you can really improve yourself and love yourself, you can't help anybody. So you have to do the homework. And if you haven't done the homework, like I didn't do with building the business, after I was successful, 25, 26-year-old, making $300,000 in sales a year, saving, a couple $100,000 to go ahead and open my business, instead of slowing down and identifying what I'm really great at, I went ahead and did the business that just doesn't leverage all my strengths. And I did pretty well in the beginning because I rode off my strengths and my stoicism and and other things that I have. But in the end, I didn't leverage everything that I had, and I didn't do that well. It didn't lead me to the final destination where I want to be. So I really sat down and I thought, well, that's because I didn't do the homework. I didn't identify my strengths, and I went in the wrong direction. Like, people will tell you on YouTube, okay, go do home flipping, go do Amazon FBA, go do crypto. But if you go do the fucking day trading in stocks, and you're gonna be like watching that YouTube video, and it's gonna pump you up, and you're gonna get excited, and you're gonna go and dive into something that you're just not built for. So if you don't know what's your strengths, you're gonna be like a leaf blown by a wind and going all these different directions and failing, where you could have just saved your time and energy and go in the direction where you know you're gonna succeed. And how do you know? Because you're aware.
So what is your strength?
Bro, I don't want to talk about my strengths. You tell me, you know me long enough.
Well, let's do this. It's easy to talk about our strengths. It's easy to talk about our weaknesses right now because we've done the due diligence and the homework within ourselves. So you're probably looking at this like, heck yeah, like I'm gonna start doing this, right? But it's gonna be awkward. It's gonna feel weird. It's gonna be hard to deeply look within yourself and to acknowledge and, again, be aware of every single weakness. But again, that's what's needed for you to grow, right? Channel or challenge yourself to be a man that you can look within every insecurity of yourself, every deepest fear within yourself, everything that you know that is holding you back. and change and try to just improve just 1%. It doesn't have to be from A to Z, a whole, just like a fast, drastic change. It can happen just getting 1% better every single day.
Yeah.
Right. So just understanding that it's going to be hard, but that's what's needed for you to grow.
And we're going to go a little off topic. There's a portion in your life where you're going to end up doing the same thing over and over again and doubting if it's actually going to work. But that's the process of growing to success. Is you have to keep doing things that you may not think are working, but you got to stay consistent, right? One of Vlad's first videos we posted on the podcast was, oh, I'm vlogging right now, taking videos at work. Let's see if you'll do it for 30 days straight. Yeah, most people can't. Vlad's right. Staying consistent is something people can't do that. So one strength Vlad has, because he asked me, hey, what's my strength? Vlad, as well, a common denominator between all three of us is consistency and discipline to show up when we don't want to show up. That's the biggest thing.
I'm really surprised right now you're saying that, because that's a new quality of myself. And you see how you can turn it around in your life. That was actually my weakness. And I realized watching other successful people, watching podcasts like this, and trying to understand how the fuck you become that millionaire, how the fuck you become that, get on that level of greatness. And number one quality of successful people, I realized, is consistency. Mm-hmm. Is a little amount of work you do every day. It's not about getting pumped and getting excited and do all the work today. Sure. It's about doing it every day. It's not about watching that Bitcoin today, how it goes up and down, and trying to buy it in the right time within 24 hours. It's about years and being stoic about the Bitcoin going down and then up. And it's like just waiting. And that's like a long-term game. The life is a marathon. So just 5-6 years ago, I wasn't consistent with my workout, with my habits, but realizing that, I was able to turn it around where people like you that know me a little bit now can actually see it as my strength. And that was weakness, before.
Sure. Just like in the beginning of the podcast, like we said, what was your weakness 3 to 5 years ago? Being consistent is key.
Bro, it's so important. Important.
And just remember that there are people you work with that have already given up on life. And a big saying that one of my managers had told me is misery likes misery. So Brendan just said your environment, hanging out with 3 successful people, can help you grow. Hanging out with 3 unsuccessful people can keep you stuck in the position you're at today. And I think it's time to go into what we're really passionate about right now, because I think one thing that we all may be passionate about, for me, is being an entrepreneur and being a business owner. And that's my biggest passion in life, is to figure out how to make that happen. And some people's passions are a little bit different. I used to like TV, but not anymore. My biggest passion in life is becoming successful and turning myself into that better version, which Brennan taught me how to do when I first met him. That's my passion, is to become the best version of myself every day and getting 1% better. Because I'm going to be able to impact your life one day, impact your life one day. You're going to be able to impact my life one day. You're going to be able to impact my life one day.
We already have.
And we're going to do it on a larger scale, 100%. Is all I mean.
100%.
Is that I want to one day be able to have my own business, not for myself, not for the wealth. Remember in the first podcast, I want to give it back. I don't need the money. It's not what I want to amass this money for. What I really want is that feeling of giving it back, really helping people and individuals on a day-to-day basis that deserve it. And I want to build a church or finance a church. So that's another goal that I have in mind.
But that's more of a goal. Okay, listen, again, foreigner here. It's not about It's not about the translation of the word. It's understanding the word. Like, can someone dive a little deeper into
passion?
No, like if you could say in one sentence what passion is, or maybe we could Google it and ask.
Let's do that.
What
I think
passion
that's
is.
huge. Passion is something you love.
But I'm trying to see what the vocabulary says, what the dictionary says, not vocabulary.
What the definition is.
What the definition is. Thank you. Yeah. I was looking for that word.
So the definition of passion is strong and barely controllable emotion. And then another definition is an intense desire or enthusiasm for something.
Okay, so it's a desire, and what I was trying to figure out, like, is it something that you're connected to right now and present, or it could be in the future? But it looks like it's desire, so desire could be for the future.
He's got another definition.
Here's a longer definition. Genuine passion means having a strong, deep-seated enthusiasm for something which involves a willingness to suffer or persevere through challenges, setbacks, and hard work for a cause or activity that you may find meaningful.
Yes.
Okay,
and that's huge.
So suffering is life.
Yes.
The goal is what you just said.
Correct.
And you're willing to go through
that.
this.
Exactly.
Okay,
That's
I like
the passion.
that. Okay, bro.
Because
I'm convinced.
when you get stuck, right, and they call it the burnout. Successful people don't get burnt out because they have a passion, they have a desire and a goal they want to reach. So they run through that motherfucker like it's nothing. Like today, I didn't want to wake up to run at 5:40, but I have a fucking passion to get to my goals and go running and be like a monster. Like,
Yeah,
just
nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you. But you woke up at 40:45, by the way, not 5:40.
Yeah, but
At 5:40 we met and went for a run.
running.
Yeah.
He's like, you woke up 4:45. You got to get the day started. You know what I'm saying? Get some push-ups in there.
Yeah,
But you got to be passionate. You think I like waking up in the morning at 4:40?
It
no.
looks like you love it.
No, I fucking hate it. But when you do something you hate, you end up loving it. That's the passion. I don't think I would ever wake up and not do push-ups anymore.
Passion.
So what are you passionate? What are you enthusiastic about? Desire, and what are you willing to push through to achieve your passions?
You said something like successful people don't get burnout. I think when you're passionate about something, let's say that you do something and you go through the challenges and suffering, and it doesn't lead you to the final destination and your goal that you're passionate about, you're gonna get burned out, and you can work for 300 days a year straight, and if you know there is your big goal that you have in your mind is going to be achieved, or it's achieved on day number 300, then you get a big you tap into a big source of energy, and that energy helps you go through all those days, and it doesn't matter how hard those days are. What I'm trying to say, if you do something that you're not passionate about, you get burned out.
Yeah, you'll break your
And
breakdown.
it's just a sign. If you lack energy and enthusiasm, it's just a sign that you're not doing something that you're designed to do, that you're destined to do. So if you don't want to show up to work, well, maybe you have to think, as ambitious person as you are, maybe I'm in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Maybe God has something bigger for me, but I don't have the courage, or I don't have ability to see beyond, my four walls.
Sure.
And your passion will give you all the energy. Passion will get you through all the challenges. You can actually not eat, not drink water, and passion will feed you the energy that you need to go through the desert that we call life, certain periods of our life. Well, passion will give you everything you need.
Yeah. What are you passionate about, Brennan?
Well, I'm passionate to win.
I love it. That's the underdog mentality,
like,
baby.
I'm passionate just to.
Let's go.
I find passion in doing things that most people aren't willing to do. Like
Sure.
that's what like gets me up every single day.
That's
just
huge.
Like, again, be more consistent than everyone. Be more disciplined than everyone. You know, just continue to push forward, right? Not allow people's opinions and judgments to derail me, and just keep pushing forward. Like it's the small things that get me passionate. Like when I start to cuss, it's not because I like to cuss, it's just because I'm passionate about certain things.
Yeah.
Right? And those certain things for me is, of course, winning, is learning, right? Learning to become better, right? I'm seeking to be this 99 overall player where every attribute about myself is gold, or, you know, whatever top level you want to say.
Sure.
Right? So that gives me passion, you know, just it's just really the small things. Like I can't really like pinpoint. I mean, the gym gives me passion because I know every single day I show up, you know, I'm building a stronger mind. I'm building a stronger body.
Killing the boy, building the man.
I love it.
Kill the boy.
100%.
Yeah.
Right. So again, like Vlad said, I think you really hit the hammer on the head with that. Like, if you don't know what you're passionate about, start to look at like the things that give you energy when you do.
Yeah.
Right. And if you like doing that, put all your time and effort into that.
I like how you shaped it up and formed, because I was thinking about my weaknesses. When I was a child and they put me in front of the class to, you know, say something on the subject, I would just get stuck for like with just a white noise in my between my ears, and I lose focus. That's my weakness. And I have this from childhood, and even now we speak sometimes, and maybe the audience can notice that I could lose the train of thought. And like, you have to work on that if you really want to do what I want to do in life, which is impact other lives and go back to my country where I'm from and help the kids and inspire them to be better on themselves, to realize that they have all the potential in the world, in the universe to become great. And if I want to do that, I have to really improve on those weaknesses, and I have to get better on speaking, and I have to get better with, you know, on just pure focus. Because if you can't speak well enough in front of the audience and you forget what you wanted to say in the beginning, and then 2 minutes you forgot where you started, or you stuck, you know, you're never gonna be able to impact lives. So that's the
I like it a
weakness.
lot. Yeah, I like it a lot, because we asked them originally about that question, and you were like, oh, let's focus on our strength. But then as we continued the conversation, you realize that with those weaknesses, you can build your strengths.
Yeah.
Right? And training yourself in your weaknesses only make you a better.
I'm still in the process.
Yeah.
We all are.
With, you know, with the YouTube channel that I have, then another YouTube with a little bit more subscribers. Go ahead and check it out, Cars with Vlad. And
little more subscribers.
Where I actually have,
damn.
I actually have like combined millions of views. I just learned how to speak, and I'm still getting there. English is not my first language, but I just like fearless, just put the phone in front of my face and start speaking. The more you do it, the better you get at it, and the better you can actually focus on what you're saying. It doesn't matter what language I speak, Russian or English. I have that weakness. I lose focus.
Sure.
But on the other side, I have my strength that helped me to be number one in a history exam in my law school and get that free tuition where there is 200 people competing in the history exam, and they have about 5 spots open, and I know that 3 is going to be bribes. Some is going to just pay for their kids. So I got to be number 1 and number 2. So I didn't know anything about the history before going to law school. I locked myself in the house with book from first grade to 11th grade, and I fucking studied everything on Russian history. That was the exam, and I came up as number 2. And then it turned out that the girl was bribed. She didn't know anything about the history, the number 1 spot. So basically I was number 1 out of 200 people, and I get free tuition to law school. So that's my strength. Like, I can really like focus, learn the information, and I'm gonna remember everything. And dedication, I think it's also dedication. Since I didn't talk about my strengths, I'm not good at focusing and speaking, but if you give me a pen and paper, I can lay out my thoughts pretty damn good, and people actually complimented me on my ability to write. And you have to take that skill and try to implement that now, like my ability to write, into my not that good of ability to speak, and work on that.
That's so is growing yourself right now.
Bro, that's a passion. Like,
that is it.
Don't overlook your weaknesses, right? Because that could be your biggest blessings too, right? And become one of your biggest strengths. Like, for the longest, I thought my biggest weakness, again, was my communication skills, but it was also my size. I'm not the biggest individual.
Loves talking about that.
Right? I stand 5'8" on a good day.
Yep. On a good day.
Right? When I got my boots on.
Vlad's 6 foot something, all right? So let you know.
Yeah.
And I thought that's my weakness. Like, when I was taller, go ahead.
And for me, I was always overlooked, told I couldn't do certain things, and I started to listen to that. But then once I started to understand, like, me being smaller, that's who I am. God put me on this planet to be small, right? And I leveraged that to become my strength, where I would not be the man who I am today. I wouldn't be as consistent. I wouldn't be as mentally resilient. I wouldn't have the self-confidence in myself, self-belief, self-trust, if I didn't have to work for everything, right? Me being smaller, I had to work harder. I had to believe in myself. I had to put more work in. I had to be more, strategic with everything that allowed me to become the man I am today, right? So don't overlook your weaknesses. Your weakness, if you put the time and effort to build it, could be your biggest strength to become an individual, again, that you're so resilient, so mentally competent, right? So just understand that.
Bro, at school, I'm 6'3", and at school, I was like 6'3" when I was like 14-year-old. And I was taller, I was taller than most of my classmates. And I would get sometimes like comments or maybe, and I thought it's my weakness. But then when I got like 18, 20, it's like, okay, it's nice to be tall. And I was like, oh, really? So sometimes you don't know that the thing that you perceive as weakness is your strength.
Yeah.
So, and like you said, it built who you are. Maybe there wouldn't be a Brandon that goes to the gym for 500 days without missing a few days, and having a 6-pack and having the confidence that you have. It's, just like I said in the beginning of this podcast, God has a plan for everyone, and we have to identify those things. And I think if we really work on those weaknesses, addictions, as I said, you're gonna win and you're gonna achieve the greatness. And everyone has his own level of greatness. And like you said, people are giving up around. They don't realize they gave up. You don't know what giving up is. But giving up is, to me, it's getting comfortable with your life. Yeah. Getting comfortable with your addictions. Getting comfortable with your body. And that's what giving up. So most of the people on these, in this country or any other country in the world, they gave up. They just chose average life. They chose average income. And if average life got you anywhere before 200 years ago, 100 years ago, where most of the people were kind of the same. Yeah. You go work at the factory, you don't change your job for 20 years. Well, that was the plan for a lot of people. And then your dad did, something for 20 years, you for 30 years, all his life, you do the same. Yeah. And it was normal. Or your dad was in military, and that's the only thing that you focused on. Yeah. Like your job, and that's it. Nowadays, they say that our life is easier than theirs, but on the other side, it's also more challenging because you can see how people live their lives on social media, and you realize that there is so much you can experience in this life, where before people like lived in their little world. Right now, you realize this world is so great, and you have to experience that, or you can just live in your little apartment, watch TV, and be happy with that. So those people give up.
It's your strengths and your weaknesses and your passions that this all ties into, right? It's like, are you getting better to have a better life, or are you staying complacent, like Brennan said, and watching TV, like Vlad said? I fucking don't watch TV. I don't have a TV. I don't own one. I don't know about you. You don't watch TV.
Well, there is TV right there, but
it's never on.
I just haven't seen it on. No, I didn't see it on, but I don't have a problem.
It's decoration.
I don't have a problem with TV.
Otherwise, he would have a house like mine that has no couch.
Yeah,
that's how locked in I am.
The problem with TV, when you watch, like when you have cable, you kind of you fed with the information that is given by someone, that is chosen by someone.
Fuck Why the would propaganda. You do that?
Yeah.
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, okay? We all forgot to tell them that. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel.
Bro, we have 12 subscribers. I think we're doing great.
Yeah, we're awesome.
Are we okay with 12, or we're gonna ask for more?
Absolutely.
Okay.
How do we end the conversation tonight? Do you think we touched on everything that we wanted to speak about, or do you think that there's something more that you guys forgot to mention?
I want to mention something, because sometimes it's like you ask me what's my weakness, and I kind of got lost, or maybe didn't want to talk about it, or whatever. I think I got lost. Or strengths, I also got lost. I think I know what they are, but like it's not on top of your head, or maybe it would help if someone would identify those for you. So the formula that I would offer to those who's watching, just ask 5, 10 people that see you every day in your circle, not only your family, not your mom that thinks you're the best, but someone from your friends circle, someone from your work, maybe relatives, family member. Just write down 5 weaknesses that you have and 5 strengths that you have. And then once you do all that, just come up and ask them to write down, or tell you, and then you write down. And then once you do all that, and you have, let's say, 5 to 10 people, the more the better, you will be able to see certain pattern. And maybe, like, sometimes it's hard to see who we are when you look at the person in the mirror. But once you ask people, or, listen again, like we all say, opinions of other people don't matter, but it will help you identify who you are and what you have to work on, or what you have to amplify. Yeah. So that's the formula that I want to give to. And if you guys want to add anything.
No, just like he said, like Vlad said, make a list. Ask people that love you, ask people you work with, find out and identify, like you always do, identify the weakness and attack it.
Ask people who are going to tell you the truth too. That's going to be a huge one. But you don't want to ask people who aren't going to tell you the truth because they're hindering you. Right? So ask people who are really going to give you the raw truth, not because they want to hurt you or make you feel lessen, because they see the full potential in you.
Yeah.
All right. On this note, we're going to end our episode. Stay tuned. And we drop podcasts every week on this channel. This is only the beginning of our journey. So stay with us, and we'll see you in the next video.
Peace.